And this whole idea of when you first see an image, you assume it's a photograph, then you realise that it isn't. It's always fascinated me that you have a photograph that's a split second, but then when you draw it and then you paint it, that can be months. And then when you finish the painting, then you take a photograph of it, and you said to me something in French about what they call that, where it's like
mise en abîme.
Mise
en abîme.
Abîme.
Yeah, when you have something that is related to the thing that's inside it. So
right.
It's basically a photograph within a photograph, or a painting within a painting. Yeah,
right.
So mise en abîme.
So it's like a mad cycle, right?
Yeah.
So so I think over the years after that, I didn't only always paint realistically. I would do what I would call semi-abstracts, using some of the fragmentation. And of course, I mean, I didn't realise that in this chat we were going to come up to such recent times, but with the advent of technology and digitization and so on, it's incredible what you can do now. And what's always fascinated me is the relationship between the analog and the digital, so the human and the machine. And I think there's an integration that's very interesting between the two. That's kind of where I work.
And how do you go about identifying objects or subjects or situations that you'd like to paint? So there's obviously the process of the concept right first. So you have perhaps an idea, so you ideate first something and then you come up with the concept, or is it something that you see around you, like you said in your early years, that you represent things that were around you? Is that still the case? And you see things that are around you, so you have an eye, I guess, for something that you can see could be abstract in a way, like that you perhaps zoom into, and that would be your focus, your framing of that painting would be that. And then obviously the next process is taking the photograph of that and then creating the painting, and then that representation, which is the painting, is representing that concept. How do you come about that concept?
That's an interesting question, because there is an aspect where it can be preconceived, or something will trigger something. It might be a film I've seen or a book I've read or whatever that will trigger an idea, and then I'll go out and search for that and take photographs or make sketches, whatever. Other times I'm just out photographing, and you catalogue stuff, or you sort of archive things, and I tend to leapfrog. So it might be a series of photographs that I took 7, 8, 10, 12 years ago or something, that I'll go, okay, now's the time. So it's not a sort of linear process where I've got an idea and I photograph it and then sketch it and then do it. I mean, sometimes yes, but very often not.
So you have a big bank of ideas on your mind, or in photograph form, I guess, in like you already have the images and a series available, but yeah, you're kind of finding the right time to do them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite eclectic with what I do, and a lot of people, it seems like you're supposed to, as an artist, have a theme that you're researching and exploring, because a lot of artists do that, and to be eclectic is kind of maybe odd in a way, because I will do landscapes, interiors, still life, portraits, architecture, water, skies, all kinds of things. But to me, it's just what's around you and what you think would be interesting to work on. And there's something that you asked me before, but when we were talking about these things, where if I had a preconceived idea of what the actual finished piece would be like, and I think the way I thought about that was, you have your initial emotional, to some extent intellectual relationship with the image, but then when you actually start to prepare everything, so you're stretching your watercolour paper, you're getting your pencils in order, or you're stretching a canvas and gessoing it and all that, then it comes to the moment of truth, and you're sitting in front of this blank canvas thinking, how am I going to do this? And that's partly why we've got this painting here, because to me this is like a deciphering process, and I don't think I could have done that without the help of technology. because the original curtains where we used to live in Tunbridge Wells some years ago were actually brown. And this colour, Winsor & Newton do a couple of greys that I've always liked. One is called Payne's Grey, which is what this is a facsimile of, but my own mix in oil paint. And there's another one called Neutral Tint, and I've always quite liked those. So in order to work out all these different shades, it's actually quite a technical process. And this is a prime example of something where I have the whole thing set up, and then when it came to actually do it, I'm like, can I do it? And I just don't know if I can do it.
So it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And that's what is that what really excites you about starting a new project? Is that challenge?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in this case, what was the process? How did you get to this? Did you see a series? Did you did you see the curtain? You said this would be a great abstract. Obviously, because you can't. I mean, I can tell it's a curtain because I know it's a curtain. Yeah. But it could be many other things, and it could be like data streaming. It could be water. It could be anything because of the colour. Those kind of things. And
that's great. I'm very happy to hear that. It's like with songs. I like when they're a little bit abstract. That's why I like people like Bob Dylan, because it's poetic, but it's a bit abstract. You're not really sure exactly, so it's open to interpretation. So then it becomes much more interactive. So I'm very happy to hear you say that.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And it was amazing hearing all these stories. I mean, I would love to delve deeper into them, and perhaps next time we can go deeper into certain different topics from what we've just spoken about. Obviously, today was to kind of introduce Brian and his life and his work. So maybe next time we can go into more topics.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.